Alright, hello everyone, this is Lord London and welcome to my third attempt at doing this. This is a Deathrattle Priest guide. So let's talk a little bit about Deathrattle Priest and the type of archetype it is. Deathrattle Priest is a longevity-based archetype that tries to outplay the opponent. What Priest does is control and healing. Well, in this case, it gets all of the control from the Deathrattles. Um, so, if longer games aren't your thing, and you prefer to play aggro, then this is definitely not the the archetype for you. So let's go in and have a look at some of the card choices that I have made in here. Let's go over the most essential cards first, and then we'll go over some of the other choices. So, well, actually, let's start with Insight. Insight is a must-have card, especially against aggro matchups. And what it does is we can go ahead and read the text. So if you're playing with a lot of spells initially, and then you're playing with minions, flooding not flooding the board, but having lots of bigger minions. And if you're playing an aggro matchup, you'll want to bring out some of the taunt minions early on, and this is a good way of doing it. And we're gonna skip over a card here and get back to it in just a second. But in order to corrupt it, you'll need to play something that's more expensive, right? So you got Devouring Plague against aggro stuff, as well as Delivery, just to dish out some damage, maybe clear a minion off the board. Right, like the Honorable Kill is just a bonus effect. Devouring Plague can pop Divine Shields, heals you, and you also have Palm Rating. Now we'll get into Discover here in a little bit, but essentially, spell reduction cost. So ultimately, you want to play this when you have, two insights in. Well, not two insights, but you want to play this with an insight in hand if you can, preferably with a lot of spells in your hand. Although, of course, that's like the ultimate if you can get away with it. Everything is, of course, highly dependent on the current situation you're facing. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the one of the most important cards that pretty much makes and breaks this archetype, and that's Amulet of Undying. So basically, what it does is each time you trade it, you get to. Sorry, I think I might have partied a little hard yesterday, so I'm a little bit fucked. But basically, every time you trade it, you get to resurrect another Deathrattle minion. Puts them right on the board. So there's that. And yeah, so you can get more of these later on potentially, but we'll be discussing that in just a tiny bit. But you'll want to save at least one of these until a later game where you can trade it numerous times and up the effect, because on its own the effect is not very potent, although of course sometimes you have to use it to save yourself. Now hopefully you're able to save both of them later on. So let's go into Zarella the Devout, which is a pretty great card. Although there's been matches where I have not played it at all or accidentally burned it, as we'll get into a little bit. And of course, you get it's a hero card, 5 armor. Right. So this serves numerous functions. You can get healing. You can get armor. You can get card draw, and you can do board damage. All of this, of course, depending on what cards you've previously, or what minions have previously died. Providing they were silenced or transformed or something. And it also gives you an alternative win condition of sorts. Gives you Holy Touch. So it's a 2 mana hero power. Store 5 health to any target of your choice. Flip each turn, so on the next turn, when you play this thing, you'll start off with the healing hero power. The next turn, it's going to flip into what they call Void Spike, and basically it deals 5 damage. 2 mana cost, deal 5 damage to any target of your choice. So you could use this to go face, or whatever you need it to do. So this is a very solid card indeed. Now let's go over some of the Deathrattle minions we got here. We'll start off from the... So we got Spirit Guide. This is your earliest taunt minion. And the Deathrattle is draw cards, right? Draw a shadow spell or a holy spell. Now I don't think you have too many holy spells actually. There's a couple here, but mainly you would use this to cheat out like the Amulets of Undying, so you can trade them more, or thinning out your deck a little bit. This is a very solid minion. Light Shower Elemental. 6 mana. 6/6. Is does exactly what it says it does. You'll want to try and get a you don't want to play this when you have 30 health, right? Unless like you strictly have to, right? Unless their board is so full and buffed that being attacked the next turn is going to kill you without a taunt. But usually you want to try to get some value out of this by allowing it to heal you. And of course, this effect transfers as a Deathrattle effect, so you can use it with a hero card, and it can be resurrected with Amulet of Undying. Same for Spirit Guide. And Undying Disciple is a board oomph. It does what it says it does, right? When you kill it, it deals it deals by default 3 damage across the board. Now there's a couple ways that you can buff this, but we'll get into that later. And Maorg Forge Fiend is I actually replaced Korok the Blood Rager with 1 copy of this. This is very solid. Since you're playing in the later games anyway, most of the games you'll be able to pull this one out. So gain 8 armor. Armor is essentially extra health, right? So even if you're at 30 health, you get 8 armor. Now you're at practically 38 health. Very good against OTKs and stuff, or things that go face, or just raid in general. But this can save you from OTKs. Like particularly the Geralt, which only deals 30 damage when it's maximized efficiency just because of the nerf. So those are the Deathrattle minions that we have. So Undying Disciple, Light Shower Elemental, and Spirit Guide, we have 2 copies of each. But the Forge Fiend, we only have 1 copy. Just because of how expensive it is. We got Sorella, which is not strictly necessary, but it gives you a little bit of board oomph. Right, so if you heal yourself with some of the spells we'll get into here, or just your hero power, maybe even after like you used your your hero card and you need to like clear a mid-range or a mid-range board of decks, or lots of there's lots of ways that you can dish out astronomical amounts of damage. but this is something you usually don't play until a bit later on, unless you strictly need it. Now let's get into some of the other things here that still are important, mind you, but maybe up for choice. Of course, things like Zarela is a choice card, um, and as is the you know spirit. I would say Spirit Guide might be a choice, and Forge Fiend might be a choice. Um, well, not Spirit Guide, but the other Disciple might be a choice card, depending on how the current meta looks like. So we got Resurrect. This is something that pretty much any priest is and warlock is gonna run. Like if you can, then yeah, that's great, right? Um, Now, when you use this, you have to kind of keep in mind what cards or what minions have died that turn, or not that turn, but that game. So you know it's completely and entirely random on what you're getting. And what happens is they'll be added to your hand as you use this. Gift of Inarus from Alterac Valley. Of course, as is the hero card. This is like a super solid card because it does not only apply to you, so it'll heal the hero too, the enemy hero. But the great thing is, if literally anything on the board is damaged after you use this, you will draw a card. So you get your card draw with this, plus potential self-healing. And keep in mind that this is not as bad as you think it is, because this all rely. Like the only time you may not want to use this is against like self-damaging warlocks. Um, but I mean, hell, even then you get card draw, and you might want to play a little bit more aggressively. Renew is let's get right into something here. So, palm reading and renew allows you to. There's 2 copies of each, and what they allow you to do is discover 1 out of 3 potential priest spells. And the great thing about this is, of course, you're limited to the random choices that you get, but you're able to tailor, the card that you pick to best fit the matchup and the current situation. So these are like pretty damn great cards, actually. Shard of Inaru is, just 2 silence. There's only 1 copy in here. It is tradable, but it can be used, to mess with Troggers and get rid of taunts and divine shield. Silence is a very powerful effect. Condemn is more board control. It starts off at 2 mana. The effect is not very potent, but at 5 mana, it'll deal 2 damage to all, which is still not very potent. But at 10 mana, once you have 10 mana crystals, so this will still cost 2 or less, depending on like if you've used palm rating on it. So it'll deal 3 when you're at maximum. Coupled with the other board clears, this is just like an extra on top. And there's only 1 in here. Like depending on, this is a choice. Right, so we already discussed these things. Hysteria is particularly useful if there's a big minion on board and a lot of other smaller ones on the enemy side, and you want to like sort of weaken their board. Super powerful. I've cleared the board numerous times using this thing. And you can also use it to trigger like your own death rattles, right? Like if you summon, let's say you have 20 health, you want some of that health back. So let's say this is in the most optimal scenario. Let's say this is discounted to 2 by 2 palm readings, right? So you could like summon something like a Forge Fiend, and maybe the opponent has like an 8/8 on board, You play it on this thing, you'll get your 8 armor. And of course, as I said, it can be used to like sort of clear or weaken their board. You could use this in conjunction with Condemn and Devouring Plague. So right, Deliverance is holy. Let's actually give you a brief overview of what's holy and what's not. So as you well, actually, we seems like we have a decent. There's still more shadow than. And of course, we missed one spell. Power Fortitude. So when you have lots of spells in your hand, and you may have potentially used palm reading, this is going to be way cheaper. I recommend buffing like, if they have a big board, I recommend buffing like the Disciple. You can, tailor this to whatever scenario you're facing. So let's get into the match part of the video, and hopefully we won't be facing any ropers or get our asses kicked. And I will say that I don't understand why people don't use this archetype more, because it's taking me very comfortably from like start of bronze to diamond I think 7 or 8, and I think it's it struggles against some matchups that mage, for example, with ignite is there's a lot of in-game value, but then you can also use Amulet of Undying to rush down the board. And
Taranda versus Maiev.
Rogue? Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. We will not be using Hysteria because that's not. Rogue doesn't have big minions. Raised that, we can replace that as well. We'll be keeping Insight because I pretty much always keep Insight now. We had a pretty shitty opening hand, so. But I like the fact that we are. Ouch. That's a hard one. I wanted to tailor out the Forge Fiend. But I like going second, because not only do you get the coin, but you're also playing reactively, which is how you're supposed to play this deck.
Blessings to you.
So hopefully this is not a roper. It might be a dick though. It's entirely a possibility. Guess not. Right. This might be facing a Geralt. Oh. We are we're not doing so hot, are we? I think this is looking pretty dour so far. But so that's just it's hard to say. It's hard to say at this point. Now we could play this at a T5 or the Forge Fiend at T7. At least they're gonna start doing damage, which is good. I can heal myself without feeling that I'm losing value. I'm just gonna do that. They're not doing big, maybe they were just waiting for the Octobot to come out. Now, sadly, we don't have many options to deal with the Octobot. Not at this point, anyway. Well, maybe Okay. Right. We literally cannot do anything at this point. But we can definitely do a renew here. Next turn, provided he plays the stealth menu. I'm not quite sure what archetype we're facing yet. Could be, like a poison rogue. In which case, I feel pretty confident. Could be Garrett, at which point my hand is not, I don't feel very comfortable with this hand that I'm having. Okay, no, it looks like we're facing Geralt. Now, hopefully they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And this animation just needs to be like... Yeah, this is annoying. Right, so... I think we'll be using Gift of Lumens. Okay, so... In the next turn, we're able to play one of these. Yep. Okay, Penslinger. Interesting. Like there's not much I can do right there. Except okay. Okay, now we're... Man, the crazy stuff. Field contact is pretty nutty. Oh. Well. You know, that's good at least. You know, worst case, they put another cultist, but we got our light tower elemental. Ow, 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 ow. Okay. This is bad. Dude, what the hell? And here comes another cultist.
hero took 3 damage. Your opponent drew 1 bleed.
Yep.
Your hero took 3 damage. Your opponent drew 1 card. Your opponent created Deathrattle.
Very guilty.
Your opponent drew 1 card. Turn ended. Your turn. You have 7 mana. You drew 1 Deathrattle. And if free, restore 3 health to all characters. If any are still damaged, draw power word 4. Light show elemental. You have 7 mana. Your 4 health. And Marv, Zarella is about 2. You have 7 mana.
Right.
Marv, Zarella is about 2 of 10. 8 hero. 5 armor. Marv 4. 8 mana. 8 8. Tom is you have 7 mana. Deliverance 3 health. If of the Marv 4 of 10. Zarella 5. If 3. Restore 3 health. You have 7 mana. Zarella. If of insight 7. Light show power. If of power word. Light show elemental. Summon. You summon light show elemental. You have 3 others. If of the 3 mana. Restore 3 health to all characters. If any are still damaged, draw a card. Power word. Insight 7. If of Zarella. If of the deliverance 3. Zarella. If of the Marv 9 of 9. Play card. And Marv, Zarella is about 2 of 9. Deliverance 3 of 9. 5 mana. Deal 3 damage to a minion. Honorable kill. Summon. If of the Marv 3. Restore 3 health to all characters. If any are still damaged, draw a card. Play card. You played If of the Marv. Your hero. Opponent's deck 8 cards. You drew 1 Tom meeting. You have 0 out of 7 mana. And Tom 5. Discoverers. You have 0. You have no valid.
Right.
We
are dead.
Your opponent drew 1 card. Opponent's hand 9 cards.
Because he's all set up to clear out his hand right here.
Opponent's deck 7 cards. And Marv, Zarella, deliverance.
Now, I don't know
3 mana. Deal 3 damage to a minion.
why I did not murder his field contact.
Your opponent plays secret passage. Release your hand with 4 cards from your deck.
That is a mystery. Oh, well, that's somewhat good. Because if he draws any bleeds here, he won't be able to.
Your opponent drew 4 cards. Your opponent's second spell deal 5 attack your light show elemental. Your opponent's minion died. Your opponent summoned Deathrattle 3 4 critical. Spell damage plus 2. Your opponent gained 2 spell damage.
I got it all.
Okay, we're
Your opponent played these. Cast deal 5 damage to the enemy hero. Your hero 7 health. And Marv 14 1 of 9. Your hero took 5 damage.
Oh my god.
Your opponent drew 1 card. Your opponent drew 1 card. Your hero 2 health. And Marv 14 1 of 9.
Shit.
Your opponent drew 1 bleed.
Goodbye, world.
Your hero took 5 damage. Your hero died. You will close window. Plus 10 armor.
So, you know, we did an obvious mistake.
Press enter to continue. You gained 61 XP.
Now,
You lost 1 star. You are currently diamond.
to be fair to
Current
myself,
progress shows. Earn 500 armor to be promoted to knight lieutenant. Current progress is 160 out of 500. Play standard. Choose your deck. Choose your deck. Deathrattle Priest 3.
I was not
Five minutes.
particularly familiar with the matchup that we were facing. Because I have not faced many Garrows. He also did plenty of mistakes, although that did not matter. The field contact should have been my #1 priority. But instead I was focusing a little bit on...
Versus Illidan.
I was focusing a
Your
little
blade
bit
against Jesus. Demon Hunter. You start with 3 cards. You go first.
Now, unless this
Raw
is...
power is no substitute for
Unless
true
this
strength.
is,
Starting hand. You roll 8
like...
cards. Unite disciple 1 of 3. Will be devouring blitz 3. Life steal. Deal 4 damage. Power word 6. Give a minion plus 3 plus 5. Cost 1 less for each spell in your hand.
Now, unless this is a, an OTK Demon Hunter, then I feel pretty confident.
You drew 1 gift of the Naru. Your turn. You have 1 mana. You drew 1 condemn. Rank 1. And you have no. You still. Your 30 health. And
But,
gift of the Naru 4. Your opponent drew 1 card.
This is also how you learn from mistakes, right? You do them. I guess I shouldn't be complaining too much of the fact that I
Condemn.
lost
Rank 1. 4
on
4.
stream
Power word 4 2 3.
while I was... Well, not on stream, because
Your
that
opponent losing cost.
happens
0 power plus 1
all
attack
the
this turn.
time.
Your opponent 0 gain 1 attack.
But losing on... while
Your
doing
opponent 0 attack. Your hero.
demonstration.
Your
And
hero took 1 damage. Turn ended. Your opponent
besides,
0 lost 1 attack. Your turn. You have 2 mana. You drew 1 devouring blade. You have 2. Condemn. Hero power. And gift of the Naru 1 of 5.
we get a little bit
Your hero.
more sample size.
Your hero recovered 1 health. Turn ended. Your
And we
opponent's turn.
get to learn from our mistakes.
Your opponent drew 1 card.
When faced with a rogue, #1 priority is getting rid of the field contact. Like, that was the only reason I lost.
Your opponent played reconnaissance. Discover a Deathrattle minion from another class. It costs 2 less.
Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. This could go, like, anyway. But Deathrattle versus kind of Deathrattle.
1 card was added to your opponent's hand.
Let's go.
Your opponent's hero became Male Shadow Song. Turn ended. Your turn. You have 3 mana. You drew 1 Undying Disciple. And 6 mana. Devouring blade. Power word 4. Condemn. Rank. Devouring. Undying.
I think someone might be a little eager, right?
Turn ended. Opponent's turn.
Normally,
Your opponent drew 1 card.
I would wait to,
Your opponent summons double agent. 3 battle cry. If you're holding a card from another class, summon a copy of this. 1 double agent was summoned to your opponent's battlefield.
alright.
You have and devour power condemn devouring undying devouring blade 3 condemn power devouring blade. Your opponent played shadow step. Return a friendly minion to your hand. It costs 2 less. 19 of 19. Stop reading history. Your opponent's double agent returned to your opponent's hand.
Whoa.
Your opponent played a coin. Gain 1 mana crystal this turn only. Your opponent gained 1 mana. Your opponent summoned double agent. And opponent's minions. Double agent 1 of 2. And if of the turn ended, your turn. You have 4 mana. Opponent's minions. Double agent 1 of 3. You group. And the zero is 4. Choose it. You have 4 mana. If of the devouring blade 2 of 7.
Now.
If of the 1 mana. Restore 3. Holy. Restore devouring blade 2 of 7. 3. Life steal. Deal 4 damage. Your 30 health. And is 0 7 of undying disciple 6. Is 0 7 of 7.
We could clean up a little bit
Undying
here.
disciple 6. Devouring blade 5. Condemn. Rank 1. Power word 4 2. Devouring. If of the devour is 0 7 of 7. Choose a card. Opponents. Double agent 2 of 3. Double agent.
Yeah, let's do it.
You played Syria. Your opponent's second double agent attack. Your opponent's first double agent. Your opponent's first double agent. Your opponent's second double agent died. Turn ended. And if of the Naru 1 of 6. Devouring blade 2 of 6. Your opponent drew 1 card.
Now he could, of course, shadow step this one and Get another one. I don't know if that's a
Your
good
opponent summons
choice.
one core after you play a secret. Discover a secret from a different class.
Alright.
Your opponent has one rogue secret. Your opponent's supposed to load triggers.
Oof.
And if the devouring blade, power word, condemn, rank, devouring blade, undying disciple.
Yeah, this thing has to go, right? This is...
Devouring blade, 3, life steal, deal 4 damage randomly split among all enemy minions. If devouring, 3 mana, power word, fortitude 3, you have 0 out of 4 mana. If the devouring 106, you're 0 for 3 damage, turn ended, your turn, you have 5 mana. Your condemn, rank 1, transform into 1 condemn, and life show 6, devouring blade 507. You play devouring blade, your opponent's supposed to load aim for 1 damage, you're recovered 1 health, your opponent's supposed to load aim for 1 damage, you're recovered 1 health, your opponent's you have 2 out of 5, and if the opponent's minions double hit, 3, 2, shield 1, 1, double hit, you have, and life show if 1 mana, life show, undying condemn, rank, power word, fortitude, you're 30 health. You can still use your power, are you sure?
We're not gonna do
And
anything.
if the turn ended 3, 2. And if the dark 106, your opponent's plagiarized trigger secret at the end of your opponent's turn, add copies of the cards they played to your hand. 1 card was added to your opponent's hand. Opponent's hand, 6 cards. Opponent's turn. Opponent's deck, 21 cards.
Alright.
Your opponent drew 1 card. And if the dark 106, after you play a secret, discover a secret from a different class, your opponent's supposed to load aim triggers. And if the light
God
disciple 5
damn it.
condemn, rank, light show element 6, 6, you have 2 out of 5 mana.
What's up with all these rogues just coming into play here?
1 card was added to your opponent's hand. Your opponent, undying disciple 5, 6 mana. If the dark 106, devouring, power word, condemn, undying, light, undying 6, 3, 7. Taunt, Deathrattle, deal damage equal to this minion's attack to all enemy minions. 1 card was added to your opponent's hand. Your opponent's supposed to load aim attack your hero for 1 damage. Your opponent's double agent attack your hero for 3 damage. Opponent's secret, talent secret 1. Make secret 2.
Oh,
Your
for
opponent, and
fuck's
if the dark
sake.
106, opponent's minion, double agent, shield, double, blackjack, center 1, battle cry. If you control secret, return the minion to someone's hand. It costs, and, double agent, blackjack, and
Yeah.
if the dark 107, raise that 7, 0, deal 3 damage, light show, undying disciple
Oh,
5,
he
7,
knew
you have 6 mana.
that.
6, 3, 7. Condemn, rank, power word, fortitude 3 of 7, condemn, 2, deal 2, devouring blade 2 of 7, you're 26 health, and if devouring blade 2, power, devour 3 mana, raise, light show, elemental 6, undying disciple 5 of 7, 6, 3, 7. Taunt, Deathrattle, deal damage equal to this minion's attack to all enemy minions.
Shit.
Summon, you summon undying disciple.
Dead, not dead.
You have 0. Turn ended, opponent's turn. Your opponent drew 1 card. You're 26 health, and if the dark 106. 1 mana, 3, 2, black, 1, 2, and if the dark 106. Devouring blade 2 of 6. If the dark 106, 1 mana. Opponent's hand, 8 cards. And if the dark 106. Devouring, raise that 6 of your opponent, condemn, rank 2, 4 of 6. Your opponent plays devouring blade, life steal, deal 4 damage randomly split among all enemy minions. And if the dark 106. 30 health, your opponent's double agent attack, your undying disciple. And if the dark 106, your undying disciple, your opponent's double agent die, your undying disciple trigger, your opponent's blackjack stunner for 3 damage, your opponent's blackjack stunner died. And if the dark 106, devouring blade 2 of 6, your opponent has 1 rogue secret.
Okay.
Power word, fortitude 3 of 6, turn ended, and 0, 7, 4, 4, 4. Raise that 6 of, light show elemental 5 of 7. You have 7 mana, summon. You summon light show elemental. You still have valid plays, are you sure? And if the dark, raise that 5 of 6, if the dark 106, you still have valid. Turn ended. Your opponent's plagiarized trigger secret at the end of your opponent's, and if the dark 106. 1 card was added to your opponent's hand.
Okay. Literally no one cares because, I mean...
Your opponent drew 1 card. 0, 6 of 6, raise that 5 of 6. Condemn, rank 2, 4 of 6. Power word, fortitude 3 of 6. 3, minion plus 3 plus 5. You have 1 out of 7 mana. Devouring blade 2 of 6, 3, life steal, deal 4 damage randomly split among your opponent's summon. Opponent's minions, card Atlantis 1, 4, rush, Deathrattle, shuffle, card Atlantis, your opponent, and if the dark 1, card Atlantis 4, Master of the Master, 3, you start the game with a different class until you play a rogue card, and if the dark 106, your opponent's card Atlantis attack your life show elemental, your opponent's minion dies. Min. 6 to the rattle and and if the prize plunder 2, Master, prize your life show, and if the dark 106. Your hero recovered 4 health, your opponent used Matter Mastery, hero power 2 1 2 Matter. You have no summon minions, 1 and you're 30 health, and if the dark 106. Devouring blade 2 of 6, your opponent's hero attack your hero.
Alright.
Your hero took 1 damage, 29, and 0 hero, 0 6, raise that 5 of 6, condemn, rank 2, power word 4, devouring blade, if the dark 1. You have 1, restore 3 health to all characters, if any, your hero, 29 health, and 30 health, and if the devouring blade 2 of 7, power word 4 2 3, devouring 3, life steal, you have 8 mana, power word 4, condemn, rank 2, 4 of 7, power word, condemn, 2, deal 2 damage to all, 3 2, prize 2 1, comp, and if the devouring, devouring, power word, devouring blade 2, power word 4, condemn, rank,
What is
you play condemn, rank 2, your opponent's counter spell trigger secret, and your opponent has a spell counter it, you have 6 out of 8 mana,
Okay.
and if the Zarella develops 8 mana, Zarella 4, 4, 4, raise that 4, 0, deal 3, power word 4 2 3 of 6, raise that 4, play, you play raise that, your hero for 3 damage, 1 undying disciple, 1 light show elemental, and light 6, 6, 6, undying disciple, summon. You have 0 out of 8 mana, you summon undying disciple, you have no valid plays. Your opponent's talent savior trigger secret after your opponent plays 3 cards in the turn, summon the 3 4 secret cards, 1 those equals summon it, and you have 0 out of, you have no your turn ended, and your 26 health, and if the dark 106, your opponent drew, prize, OC, 3 4, prize plunder, 2 1, Master of the Masquerade, and if the dark 1, opponent's hand, 6 cards, and if the dark 106. And if the dark 106, your opponent played contraband stash, replay 5 cards from other classes you played this game.
Alright.
Your opponent has 1 made secret. Your opponent has 1 balance secret. Your opponent played devouring blade, life steal, deal 4 damage randomly split among all enemy minions. 1 card Atlantis was summoned into your opponent's battlefield. Your undying disciple took 1 damage. 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 And if the dark 1 light show elemental 6 of 6. Your opponent's Master of the Masquerade attack your undying disciple. Opening side. Your undying disciple trigger. Your opponent's minions took 3 damage. Your opponent's prize plunder died. Opponent's minions OC 1 of 2. 3 1 taunt. Card 4 1 Deathrattle. And if the dark, your 26 health. And if the dark 106. If the devouring blade 2 of 6. If the dark 1 restore 3 health to all characters. If any are still damaged, draw a card. The power word 4 2 3 of 6. You have 0 out of 8 1. Restore 3 heals to all characters.
Okay,
Still damage.
I know what to do here. Coming right
Your
up.
opponent cards. Your opponent play reconnaissance. Discover Deathrattle minion from another class. It costs 2 less.
Okay.
Swiftly.
10 seconds remaining. One card was added to your opponent's hand. Your opponent's OC attack your hero. Your hero took 3 damage. Your opponent's hero attack your hero. Your hero took 1 damage. Your opponent's wicked knife broke. Tormented. Your opponent's first card. Your opponent's second card. Your opponent's third.
Alright.
3:55 p.m. 3 cards and 1 should go to the later added to your opponent's hand. Mara 4, 8 mana, 8 8. Tom, you have 9 mana. Hit with the Naru 107. Hit with the play.
So,
You play hit with the Naru. Your opponent's counter spell triggered. See your opponent's
spell.
spell counter it.
Yep.
And power, devouring blade 1 play. You play devouring blade. Your opponent's OC took 1 damage. Your hero recovered 1 health. Your opponent's card Atlantis took 1 damage. Your hero recovered 1 health. Your opponent's minion died. Your hand power fortitude 1 of 5. You have 5. Zerella 2. Zerella 2. Light show. Mara 4. 8 mana. You have 5. Light 6 6 6. Tom Zerella 3. 24. Hand power fortitude 1 of power. Zerella 2. 4 mana. Zerella light show. Mara.
Now.
Choose a target. You lose lesser heal. You have 3 of them. You have turn 26 and 30 health. And your opponent's hand 6 cards. Opponent's secret. Talent secret 1 of 1. And power fortitude 1 of 5. Your opponent summons Swashbuckler 1 1 battle cry. Add a random card from another class to your hand. 1 card was added to your opponent's hand. Your opponent plays backfire. Draw 3 cards. Deal 3 damage to your hero. Your opponent drew 3 cards. Your opponent's hero took 3 damage.
Wow. I'm liking this rogue so far. This is actually pretty cool to watch.
And Mara 14 5 8 8 8. Your opponent cast 1 rogue secret 104. And power fortitude 1 of 5.
Alright.
And Mara light show elemental 4 6 6 6. Your 26 health. And power fortitude power Zerella 3 of 5. Zerella 4 mana. You have 3 out of 9. Power 7. Give a minion plus Zerella light show Mara.
Also, it doesn't help that we've had some extremely bad...
Your opponent summons Zigger. Expect 2 aura. Deathrattle shuffles Zigger prime into your deck.
Ah.
Your opponent Mara 4 8 mana. Swap will combo 3 4 5. Fresh cost 1. And power Mara 8 mana. Your opponent loses mastery. Hero and power fortitude 1 of 5. Your opponent's hero equipped 1 wicked knife. Your opponent's hero gained 1 attack. Mara 4 your 25 health. And power fortitude 1 of 5. Your hero took 1 damage. Tormented. Your turn. You and hit with the Naru 1 mana. Restore 3 heals to all characters. If any are still damaged, draw a card. You have 10 mana. Play card. You play hit with the Naru. Both heroes recover 3 health. You drew 1 light show element and 6 mana. Mara 14 and 506. Deck 16. Opponent's deck 15 and light. Mara 14 and 5 sub. You have 1 out of 10 mana. You summon Mara 14 in. You have no balance. You have no. And power tormented. Zerella light show your opponent. 6 6 6. 2 horned slash 1 1. Will pump 4 5. Swap zip 2 horned rattle. Rush the rattle shuffle Zigger prime into your deck. And power fortitude 1 of opponent's 1 1. Zig 2 horned rattle. Swap will 4 5. And power fortitude 1 of 5. Your opponent plays secret passage. Replace your hand with 4 cards from your deck. Swap back next turn. And power fortitude 1 of 5. Light show elemental 5 of 5.
I apologize that I'm not actually... I'm like...
Your opponent drew 4 cards. Your opponent summons Swashbuckler 1 1 battle cry. Add a random card from another class to your
potential
hand.
plays.
1 card was added to your opponent's hand.
And, well, let's just say that I'm not very good at announcing.
Your opponent summons will combo 4 5 which costs 1 less for each card you added to your hand from another class.
Okay. So,
Your opponent traded Blackwater Cutlass.
they're gonna... Those
Your
are
opponent
gonna
drew 1 card.
die.
Your opponent summons double agent 3 3 battle cry. If you're holding a card from another class, summon a copy of this. 1 double agent was summoned into your opponent's battlefield. Your opponent cast 1 rogue secret.
Wow. Alright.
Your opponent's secret, talent secret 1 of 3. Your opponent's will combo attack. Your Mara 14 and power fortitude 1 of 5. Your Mara 14 and your opponent's will combo attack. Your Mara 14 and trigger. Your hero gained 8 armor. Your opponent used matter mastery. Hero power equipped 1 2 matter. Your opponent's hero equipped 1 wicked knife. Your 8 armor and 20 health. And power fortitude 1 of 5. 10 seconds remaining. Your hero lost 1 armor. Your light show elemental 5. Your hero Zerella 2 of 5. Your power tormented. Zerella 2 of 5.
Alright.
Opponent's hand 6 cards. 4 cards and 1 should go to the opponent's hand 6 cards. And inside 6 2 raw minion. Corrupt resist. Light show element. Light show element. You have 10 mana. You summon light show elemental. And power inside 5 of 5. Play card. You play inside. You drew 1 steer kite. Your opponent's 33 trigger secret after your opponent casts a spell. Draw 2 cards. Opponent's hand 8 cards. And steer kite 3 5. Tom to the you have 2 light. Zerella power word. Hero power lesser heal. Choose a target. Your hero 4 armor and 28 health. You lose lesser heal. You have 0. Your hero recovered. Tormented. Opponent's turn. Your opponent drew 1 card. Opponent's minion. Zigger apex spreader 1 of 5. 2 horned slash 1 1. Slash 1 1. 3 3. Double 8 3 3. And power word fortitude 1 of 5.
Alright.
Your hero 4 armor and power word fortitude. Zerella 3 of 5. Light show.
At least we got
Your opponent's card 9 10 rush whenever it's attacked.
hero. Oh god.
1 attack 30. And opponent's deck 7 cards. Deck 14 cards. And opponent's deck 7 cards. And steer kite 5 of 5.
No one crosses
Your opponent summons Metal Hand 2 3 combo. Add a copy of the last card your opponent plays to your hand. 198 to 198. Stop reading history. 1 card was added to your opponent's hand. Your opponent's card has 9 attack. Your light show elemental. Your opponent's card has 9 trigger. Your opponent's hero gained 10 armor. Your light show elemental 5. Your light show elemental trigger. And power word fortitude 1 of 5. Your opponent Zerella 2 of 5. Zerella light show steer kite. Your hero lost 1 armor. Your opponent's wicked knife broke. Your opponent's second double agent attack. Your hero lost 3 health. And power word fortitude 1 of 5. Your opponent's first double agent attack. Your hero took 3 damage. Your opponent's second Swashbuckler attack. Your hero took 1 damage. Your opponent's first Swashbuckler attack. Your turn 23 health. And deliverance 6 3 deal 3 damage to a minion. Honorable kill. Summon. You have 10 mana. Steer kite 5 of 6. Light show elemental 4 of 6. Zerella power. 2 horned rattle. Slash 1 1. Slash 1 1. Double 8 3 3. Double 8 3 3. Vanessa 2 3. Card 10 4. Vanessa and Rihanna back. Choose a card. And power word. And deliverance of card 10 4. Vanessa 6. And power word fortitude. You have no summon and power Zerella 2. Zerella light show elemental 4 of 6. Steer kite 5 of 6. 2 horned rattle. And power word. Fortitude 106. Slash word 1 1. Double agent. Double agent. Vanessa. Card. 10 4. Vanessa 2 3. Card 10 4. And deliver. Senior type 5. Light show. 0 0 2. Power word 4. 0 2 6. 4 4. Deliver 6. 3. Deal 3 damage to a minion. Honorable kill. Summon the 3 copy of it. Senior type 5. Light show. Senior type 506. You have 10 mana. You summon Senior type. And deliver. Light show. Element. 0. Light show. Summon. You have 10 mana. You summon light. You have no valid flip. You have. Turn ended. Opponent's turn. Your hero. Your opponent drew 1 card. 23 health. And card at prime 707. 10 4. Rush whenever it attacks and kills a minion. Gain 10 armor. And power word. 10 armor and 30 health. And power word.
Well, you're...
Your opponent's second attack your Senior type. Your opponent's minion type. And power word. 0 0 deliverance 4 4. Deal 3 damage to a minion. Honorable kill. Summon. Your opponent's blade type. Your opponent raw minion. Resist cost 5 2. 224 224. Stop reading history. Your opponent drew 1 card. Your opponent's slash attack your Senior type. Your opponent's minion type. Your opponent's summon 1 2 combo. Discover mage spell. And deliverance 4 4.
Now I just want to play Burglar Rogue.
3 mana. Deal 3 damage to a minion. Honorable kill. Summon the 3 copy of it.
Although, of course,
1 card added to your opponent's hand.
it's highly random on what it does.
0 deliverance 4 4. Your opponent summon blackjack thunder 1 2 battle cry. If you control secret, return a minion to its owner's hand. It costs 1 more.
Oh, fuck, fuck, fuck.
Your light show elemental return to your hand. Your opponent's second double agent attack your Senior type. Both minion type. Your Senior type trigger. You drew 1 charge of the power. You drew 1 insight. Your opponent and power word. Insight 707. Your opponent's 11 health. Your hero and your opponent's double agent attack your hero 11 health. Your and insight 707. Your 6 health. And power word.
Fuck
107.
and fuck.
Quickly.
And insight 7. Shard of the Narrow 607. Light show. Shard of the Narrow 607. You have 1 out of 10. Light show. 7 6 6. Deliverance 407. Zerella. Deliverance 407. 3. Deal 3 damage to a minion. Honorable kill. Summon insight 7 2. Raw minion. Corrupt. Resist cost 5 2. Your opponent casts 1 rogue secret. Shard of the Narrow 607. Your opponent 1 mana. 1 mana. Your opponent's hero equipped 1 minion type. Your opponent's hero gained 1 attack. You have 1 out of 10 mana. Your opponent drew 1 card. And power word. Fortitude 107. 1 card was added to your opponent's hand. And raise at 8 0. Deal 3 damage to your inside. Shard of the Narrow 608. You have 10 mana. Play. You play Shard of the Narrow. Your opponent's minion was silenced. Your opponent's 33 trigger. Secret after your opponent casts a spell. Draw 2 cards. Opponent's hand 9 cards. Opponent's deck 3 cards. Deck 10 cards. And power word. 0 2. 0 3 of 7. You have 9 out of 0 8 mana. Hero.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Play card. And raise at inside 607.
No.
You have 9 out of 10 mana. Light show 7 6 6. You have 9 out of 10 mana.
Shit.
Deliverance 4 7. 0 0. Power word. Fortitude 4 0 4 mana. 0 deliverance 4 7. Light show elemental. Deliverance. Light show. Insight. Raise. 0. Deal 3 damage. Light show element. You have 9 out of insight 2. Raw minion. Corrupt. Light show. You have 2 out of 10. You have 2 out of 10 mana. And raise it inside 5 6. Play. You play inside. You drew 1 Senior type. You have 0 out of 10 mana. Your opponent's allocates your trigger. Secret after your opponent plays 3 cards in a turn. Summon the 3 4 with cost 1 OC.
Oh,
You still have valid play.
fuck.
And raise at 5. No more valid options. You still have your 6 health. Turn. And power word. Fortitude 106. Minions. Light show elemental 1 1. Your and opponent OC 707. Blackjack thunder 607. 1 2 1 2 1 2 silent. Card 10 4 silent. Vanessa 2 3 silent. Double 8 3 3 silent. 6 2 4 silent. And power word. Fortitude 106. Your opponent's blackjack thunder attack your light show elemental. Your opponent's minion type. Your opponent summon card at prime 10 10 rush. Whenever it attacks and kills a minion. Gain 10 armor.
Oh, yeah, we're...
Your opponent's second card at prime attack your light show elemental. Your opponent's second card at prime trigger. Your opponent's hero gains 10 armor. Your light show elemental type. Your light show elemental. Your opponent's first card at prime attack your hero 14 health. Your and power word. Fortitude. Your 2 health. Your and power word. Fortitude 106. Your first window.
Yeah. Goodbye, world.
First window. Plus 10 armor. You gain
Alright.
100 XP. Press enter to continue. Press enter to continue. You gain 100 XP. You lost 1 star. You are currently Simon Base. You have 0.
Awful. Alright, anyway,
General Discord. Roll up. Stop recording.
you know, despite our losses here, I hope that someone found the guide helpful. And thanks for watching. If you like this, then please subscribe. And I apologize for being terrible. But anyway, y'all have a good day.